Hey, it's me, Ronnie. Hey, how's it going? I'm back. I didn't have time to make a video, but I did get to my Ford four-wheel drive, the 1984, with the oil leak that was losing a gallon of oil. It holds a gallon and a half. It was losing a gallon of oil every 18 minutes, okay? That's not good. That's and it just out of a little area like this. Yeah. That big, by that big, where it should not be leaking. That engine, even though I said I bought it dead on the road. Well, it was dead on the road, and I said, well, if you ever want to sell it, a week later, said, yeah, it's toast, and they said everything's broken, the cam's gone, all this, yeah, blah, blah. I got it going, and then I'm still using that same motor that's got, it's not perfect, but yeah, a little area that big, by this big, that supposedly has no pressure behind when it was 30 below zero, even though I had a block heater and stuff going, and it, just think of this, a power washer or your garden hose and a nozzle this big that's supposed to shoot out after and hits a piece of steel or aluminum that's flat, and it's supposed to splatter and then fall down into the bottom oil pan, right? I don't have time to draw pictures, but I'll explain if it works. It's a freak engine. It's a freak engine, a freak failure. But instead of a little fine jet of oil, just like a power washer hitting a super small area that big, by this big, it's supposed to hit aluminum plate and then run down. It's supposed to run down in the oil pan. Well, this motor apparently has a freak part where the angle where the return oil shoots out at 60 or 80 pounds when it's that cold, and a stream that small, which will basically cut a hole in your finger, was hitting exactly on the seam of a rubber gasket that's that thick by about that thick, right below a timing cover and right where it meets the oil pan. And it's not supposed to hit there. It's not. That return oil, even at 50, 60 pounds when it's cold, even in that super fine stream, is designed to hit the metal and then splatter. Well, this engine, for some reason, has an area that big by that big with 80 psi when it was really cold, and it's an 87 engine or 88 engine, I think. It's hitting in a spot it's not supposed to, right at a gasket, and it basically like taking a power washer to your car in a mud or something. It's the gasket it blew out was actually, it's a rubberized gasket, but it's only that freaking thick by, that wide. But no, it cut right through it. It's like taking a pressure washer. You go wash your car by hand with a pressure washer where you got to hold it, and then put your finger that close in front of that pressure washer wide open and see what it does to your finger. Don't do it. Don't do it. It will cut a hole right through your finger, okay? That's what happened. This motor is a freak motor for a 300 6-cylinder Ford. The return oil from the head and the cams were bored off a little bit, and instead of hitting, like I said, a flat plate of metal, so it splatters first, it's hitting right where 3 different seams of metal, the oil pan, the block, And the timing cover, it has to be hitting right on a lip, right at that gasket, and it poofed it. That's not normal. It's freakazoid. But why I'm stating this is because if you're gonna, and I'm doing I did a like $8, well, with $10 with cleaner and stuff, and a 35-minute repair once I got done. I'm gonna see if it works. I'll show you, and if it works or don't, I'm gonna let you know. But I said I only put 1,500 miles on this pickup a year, and I'm not gonna tear the whole front AO off and take basically 6 or 7 hours for a $20 gasket. If I can make it work and if it works, I know all kinds of little secrets. I've been fixing things. If this was a customer's vehicle and they said I only put on 600-700 miles a year on it, if you know any way to just to stop the oil leak and not have to charge me $600 for labor, $100 an hour, which the shops now are charging $140, $150. I'm undercutting them big time. I would say try this first. I will attempt this, and we can see if it's worth trying. And if it don't, I said, I tell you what, if it don't work, you want to do it that way, let's try it. So I'm trying on my own first because I've never come across this, but there's always, every repair that is needed, there's always a cause. You have to find the cause before you can do a correct repair. The cause and effect, okay? And this is a freak. This motor is a freak motor. It's not designed to do that. I never had the truck. I don't know anything about that motor. I said it's an 84 four-wheel drive, but it's got an 87 or 88 motor in it that was fuel injected at his carburetor. I said I've done all kinds of stuff with it, but I got it really cheap, and it does what I need to do. But there's a cause and effect. To repair it, I have to find my mind, and I know these engines, and that should not happen, but this one's a freak where it's just shooting return oil out at a certain spot that it's not supposed to hit. Right where 3 different gaskets meet. That's not good, and it blew it out. Yeah. So yeah, and what I'm doing and using is made for 1 pound per square inch pressure. And where this oil is coming out when it's really cold, or even when it's warmed up, is at least 50 psi in an area this big. So how do you take something that is made to withstand 1 psi and even attempt to fix it when you know you're going to have at least 50 to 80 psi in an area that small? Well, that's what I'm going to check and see. I have a theory. If it don't work, it don't work. Well, then I have to take the radiator out, the fan off, water pump off, all the power steering out, all the alternator, everything, all that stuff off. Boom, boom, pulleys off, and then pull the timing cover and just put, like I said, probably a top of the line full gasket for $20 will cost. In time, if I charge myself my time, at $100 an hour, $600. If there's a ways around it and it'll work, not a problem. But I have to find the cause and effect. And I said I know how it's designed, how the engine is. It's just something about the way the oil return is not going right where it's supposed to shoot out. It's shooting out about that much lower and then right into where the gaskets, and it happens to be where 3 different gaskets meet at once. But you have to have a cause and effect. But yeah, I said what I'm using and attempting to do will withstand 1 psi per square inch. We're talking 80 pounds when it's cold to 60 in an area that big. A square inch is that big, where my fingers are, by that big, square inch. I'm talking 80 pounds to an area this big, by this big. And it's made to withstand 1 psi. But there's tricks. So I'm attempting it. I got it done. I've done it. I have it in the garage. But it's going to take about 5 days for the stuff I'm using to set up correctly to even 1 psi per square inch that big. And let's see if it'll take 80 pounds that big. But there's tricks to using different composite, automotive and agricultural products for gear cases and ceilings. And yeah, we'll see if it works. I think I'm going to get it. If not, I'm out 35 minutes and $8. So then I know I got to pull everything apart for a $20 gasket. Everything's made to fail, but I've never seen one of these engines, these 306 4.9 liter, 306, even till they, from the early 60s, when they went from a 200 cubic inch to the 300 or 240 cubic inch to the 3. I've never seen one fail this way, ever. And I've been around working on these a long time. I've never seen this failure, but there has to be a reason. And I watched it, and I watched the oil run out. And I said, just this engine must have a return that just bored off a little bit, like that much. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I said, I'm going to leave it hang now, and I'm not going to touch anything. It's going to stay in the garage. And I said, the stuff that I'm using by their specs for 1 psi is at 77 degrees, curing rate for 7 days. I have a little electric heater under it. Right now, it's 65 instead of 50 in the garage. And I'm going to shut it off tonight, and I'm going to let it sit while I'm gone. And then when I come home, I'll let it get warm again. And I'm going to wait 5 days, and then I'm going to drive it this weekend. We'll see what happens. It's not worth spending. To me, if I have free time, I'll spend 6 hours or 8 hours, and I have to tear apart everything I said. But in a normal shop, that's where they get you. The gasket that has a chunk that blew out, my cost is basically about $5.50. But to take everything apart and get to that gasket and replace it, a $5.50 gasket is about 6 hours. And it's, regular shop rates around here on automobile and vehicle work. And this is not real hard to get to. It's $120, $130 an hour. So I've never attempted this trick on something this goofy with that much high pressure hitting it. I'll see if it works or not. If it don't, I'm out. I said I'm out $10 in 35 minutes. So then I got to spend 6 or 7 hours for a $5 gasket, but that's what I have to do. But I had an idea. I'm going to try it. I'll get back to you. It's awesome. And you know what? If you don't want to do nothing like that, why something just popped in my head today. It's like, if humans that don't do anything and don't try anything, some of them, they're probably correct. Once you think about it, if a human doesn't do nothing, they can't make any mistakes and they can't get in trouble for being wrong. Yeah, so yeah, I'm like, gee, some people just whine and crab and but they never do nothing to change it. Well, if you never do nothing, you can never be wrong, and you can never be in trouble for being wrong. I don't work that way. But there you go. I'll let you know this weekend. I'm going to keep playing with it. I said, but what I'm doing is not recommended whatsoever. And if it fails, I'm going to show you when it fails. If it works, it works. I'm thinking it's going to work. Just that, but any repair you have to fix on anything, any mechanical equipment, there's a failure for a reason. First thing you have to find is why it failed, so you can make sure you repair it correctly. Even if it's like, to get by, like I'm gonna do, to save enough money. If this repair holds for one day, it'll hold for 10 years, no problem. But yeah, if it's a regular shop, they're gonna say, oh yeah, that. We're not gonna tell you can maybe fix it for, I'll charge you a half hour and $10 of stuff. If you only drive it 500 miles and it's not your go-to machine every day, they won't tell you that. Say that's gonna be $650 plus their markup on the parts. In almost every automotive shop, that does repairs, like square tire, Firestone, all them, the mechanics get paid by the hour plus a labor rate, and if they can do it correctly and not having returns. But here's the kicker: every part they sell to the customer that they tell them they need, they get 25 to 35% of the cost of the marked up part on their check every week. You ever try to buy your own starter? Your starter's going out in your vehicle. Take out the square tire somewhere and say, here's a brand new warranted starter. Will you just put my old starter, take it out, put this new one in? Nope! We have to buy our own parts. We cannot warrant it. We can't even touch it. That's bullshit, because they mark their parts up and they get a kick off of it. There you go. Instead of people got good parts, and I know they're good parts, and they bring stuff to me and go, hey, here's the parts. Name brand parts. Will you put it together? Yeah. But I'm only going to warranty my work. I'm not warranting their parts. You got a warranty, they all supposedly got a warranty. But you all didn't know that, did you? Yeah, every mechanic gets a kickback on almost every mechanic in automotive shops that are name brand shops get a commission on the parts they sell to repair. Yeah, it's not correct, but that's the truth. All right, love you. Bye. Half a heart. Oh yeah, peace first. Peace. Love, half a heart, because I'm holding my phone. Have a heart. Tomorrow's a new day. I said in 4 or 5 days, I'm going to show you what happens. And that's not a pretty deal, but I said it's theoretically, it's 50-50 it'll work. Okay? If it does work and last hour drive, it will last 10 years. Alright? But I'm not going to show anybody how to do it or attempt it until I know if it works, or if it fails, then I'm going to show you why it failed. I have a really good feeling it's going to work, because I've come close to doing this on other real heavy equipment, on combines and gearboxes. But this is just so much pressure in an area that's not supposed to be there. But I'm using the best knowledge I have, the best technology and the stuff to try it. I said I'm only out $10 and 35 minutes of my time once I got everything moved around. You know, if it would have been in a warm spring or summertime, I wouldn't have, you know, I said it'd be $10 in 30 minutes. So we'll see what happens. I'll let you know. I love y'all. Have a good one. Tomorrow's a new day. Oh, and I look forward to every day. There's beauty in everything, man. Downers and melodramatic people, just, they've been around me lately. The way too much drama, and melodrama crap. Yeah, I said, hey, you know what? If you're trying out for the melodrama play that they're doing in town this summer, that's another door down. I don't need no melodramatic crap. So if we're just working together, be normal. The melodrama play and the tryouts are the next door down. So go down there and go to that door and do your melodrama and your dramatic crap, and maybe you can get a leading line, you know. Woo. But keep it away from me. Love y'all. It's so cool. Love you. That's it. Peace. Love. Half a heart, have a heart. Just try. And find something beautiful in every day. It's there. You just gotta pay attention. I'll be back. Cool breeze, man. I'll keep you informed if I do correct or if I fail. Okay? I have nothing to hide. But I'm going to try. I have a brain. Theoretically, it possibly should. You know, theoretically, possibly it should work. But I said I'm not out much for trying. You know, and if I can save 6 or 8 hours of messing around, yeah, cool breeze. Y'all have a good one. I'll be back. I love y'all. Take care. Be safe, be smart, but don't be afraid. Okay? I'll be back.